Peace, 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 and welcome to the Six for Sixers podcast. I'm your host, Brother Creek, and you're on the Six for Sixers podcast where we break down in 6 points all things Sixers. So it might be a recap of the game, and we might give you the six most important points from the game or key points to the wins or losses. But it might just be a topic that we raise that involves our 76ers. So please like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification, all that good stuff to keep the podcast vibrant and flowing. Recommend your friends if they want to have some intelligent Sixers talk. And today's topic is a controversial one in Sixer land. It involves our very own power forward, Tobias Harris. Now, I'm here today to make the claim that Tobias Harris is the second most valuable player on the Philadelphia 76ers. I have been making this claim for some years now, probably about 2 years, and I've been met with a ton of opposition by our own Sixer fans. It's never the outside fans that bash Tobias. It's always his own people. And so I'm making a claim. I've been making a claim for years. Anybody that has read my writings knows that I have been an advocate of Tobias Harris his entire time in Philly. But today I'm going to hit him with a little bit of facts today. And I want you to comment in the comment section if you agree or disagree. I love disagreement because then I get to go deeper with the facts. And I got a whole arsenal today. But I only have 6 points. So the way I get my other points off is when I get debaters and I can get in the comments and give them more facts and details. All right, so here we go. Let's go take in a little bit of history on Tobias Harris first. First, Tobias Harris was drafted 19th overall in 2011 by the Charlotte Bobcats. Wow. Now it's the Hornets, as you know, but he was traded on draft day to the Milwaukee Bucks. He was with the Bucks organization from 2011 to 2013. Then he was traded to Orlando. He's with Orlando from 2013 and 2016. He was with Detroit from 2016 to 2018. Was with the Clippers from 2018 and 2019. And then he was picked up in free agency by the Philadelphia 76ers in the summer of 2019. Wow. 5 teams in Tobias Harris's career so far. We call that in the NBA a journeyman. But it's kind of strange because Tobias has had a pretty solid career to be just moving around from team to team like that. But he has been moved around quite a bit. My contention is that, again, he's the second most valuable player to the Sixers potentially making a deep run or even winning a championship. My first point is that our fans use Tobias Harris's contract as a deterrent, meaning that they felt that when the Sixers signed Tobias Harris, that I guess there wasn't a lot of smoke about it in the beginning, but as you know, his numbers were hovering around 17 to 19 points per game. They thought that he is not a max player. He is making too much money, and the Sixers organization is not getting the value for their money. And I think, honestly, that was an unfair assessment, and I'm going to prove to you why I believe that was an unfair assessment. Now, let's look at the other free agents that were available in 2019. There was a scramble. There were all these names coming out in the Sixers. They didn't want to lose out in the race, right? But these are the top free agents during that year. We have Kawhi Leonard was probably the top. Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers for $45,600,000 per year. Kevin Durant, $47 million per year, went to the Nets. Jimmy Butler signed with Miami for $45 million a year. Kyrie Irving, $37 million per year, also to the Nets. And then we had Tobias Harris, which was approximately $37 million per year as well. So, all right, okay. Tobias is not on the level of a Kevin Durant. He's not on the level of Kawhi Leonard at that time. And I mean, arguably, I guess you could say Jimmy Butler as well. But those guys are well into the 40s, almost into the $50 million range. So Tobias at 37 million is not even close to those guys. But here's some guys that are close to where Tobias Harris is that signed their deals within that same contract year. Kemba Walker, 4 years, $140 million, the Boston Celtics. How'd that work out? 4 years, $40 million, $140 million. Klay Thompson, 5 years, $190 million. Chris Middleton, 3 years, $102 million. Kristaps Porzingis, 5 years, $158 million. Now, the last half of the list of the guys that I named, how did that work out? Did they produce the value for that money? Most of those guys riddled with injuries, missed a lot of time. And then in the worst case scenario, Kemba Walker is not even in the league anymore. So Tobias Harris fits right in. He was ranked, I think, the 9th best available free agent at that time. And so when we think about his salary was comparable with those guys that I mentioned. I mentioned all 8 guys before him. The first 4, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, and Kyrie Irving. Okay, I give you that. Those guys may be looked at as more dynamic performers on the court. But the last half of the guys, I'll take Tobias Harris over them any day. And I would even take Tobias Harris over Kyrie Irving too. So probably not over Kawhi, Kevin Durant. But then in Jimmy Butler, there's got to be an argument there. Now, the second point I want to make is that Tobias Harris has been dubbed across the league as the NBA's Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army knife. Do you know what a Swiss Army knife is? A Swiss Army knife is not just a knife. It's just called a knife. But if you open it up, you might have a screwdriver in there. It might have a little pair of scissors in there that you can cut things. It might have a little saw in there that you can, saw down little pieces of wood. It might have a corkscrew in there, a bottle opener. It's a whole variety of things in one device. That's what Tobias Harris is in the NBA and for the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's some examples of things he can do. He can post up smaller defenders. He's 6'8", 226 pounds. And he takes smaller defenders. He can play with his back to the basket. Post up. He has an array of post up moves. If he gets a bigger defender, because he does play power forward, gets a big power forward, can't keep up with him, he has quickness and speed and go right past him and get to the basket. Tobias Harris can act as a spot up shooter. He rebounds at like 6 to 7 per game. He can dish assists 2 to 3 a game. And he also he plays great defense. He can guard every position from the 1 to the 5, especially, and I've seen him do it. So that is an example of a basketball Swiss Army knife. Guy you can put in any position and he can thrive. And he slashes to the basket at a high clip. Can get out on a break as well. So he does a lot of everything very well at a high clip. And I would say he's only second to Joel Embiid in terms of his versatility as a player. The third reason is just shooting. Tobias Harris is shooting over 50% from the field this season. He's shooting 35.9% from the three-point line, 90% from the free throw line. He can shoot, obviously, in the paint, backing defenders down. He can face up, shoot the mid-range jumper. He can shoot the three-pointer from all angles, not just top of the key. He can be in the corner and he shoots them at a high clip, 50.9% on the season. And so I don't know many players, especially at the power forward position, that can branch out to the three-point line and really shoot from any spot on the floor. So that makes Tobias Harris a very versatile player. My point number 4 is that Tobias Harris can take the pressure off of the guards, Tyrese Maxey, DeAnthony Melton, and even when he's playing in the game with Patrick Beverly, Pat Bev, I don't really see those guys as being really great ball handlers. But Tobias Harris, he can get the ball up the floor when those guys are under a lot of pressure and initiate the offense. So we've seen him do it, and it takes the pressure off of our guards, makes the offense flow a lot better. Point number 5 is that Tobias Harris can take over a game. We know he plays behind Embiid and Maxey, so he's really the third option when all starters are available. But on those games when Embiid was out and Tobias Harris was a legitimate second option, he's shown the ability to literally take over a game. I mean, be unstoppable. 37 points against the Sacramento Kings this season, 27 points against Miami, and 32 points against the Atlanta Hawks. So, I mean, come on. That we can't look. His season average is about 17 points per game. I guess his season high average was about 19 points when he was playing with the Clippers. But he has shown the ability to score many more points and at a much higher clip when he is made a priority in the offense. And my 6th point, which goes unnoticed a lot, but he is the ultimate professional. This is professional sports. He's a professional basketball player. And so while we love his ability to score on the basketball court, it does matter that he is a professional, well-spoken guy, a locker room guy, supportive of his teammates. Last season, he encouraged Joel Embiid when he was making his MVP race, and he told Embiid that this team will only go as far as you take us. So there's no ego with him. You never hear about him getting on any kind of trouble off the floor. He's not a distraction to anybody. He comes in, works hard every game, and gives it 100%. So, you know, some people would debate that and say, well, he doesn't give 100% all games, but he does. The games where we've seen Tobias trail off are games where the ball is dominated by Embiid and Maxey, and, you know, he's not really in the flow of the offense. So those are my 6 for Sixers points on why Tobias Harris is the second most valuable player on the Philadelphia 76ers and the second most instrumental person to us potentially winning a championship and getting that parade down Broad Street that we haven't seen since 1983. Some of y'all are too young to even remember that. But anyway, this is your brother Creek on the 6 for Sixers podcast. Again, remember, likes, share, subscribe, comment though. That's the main thing, is let's get the comments and let's get the discussion going. But tell your friends, this is the most important and the most intelligent Sixers Facebook group and YouTube group on the planet. I'll put it up against any of the other groups. No nonsense. We just talk Sixers talk all day and all night. So until next time, peace. See you. We got a game tomorrow night and we got a game Tuesday night. So I'll be doing a recap, maybe with my brother, John Jervy. So see you on the next one. Later.